we've also got a spot removal tool inside of Camera Raw that lets us remove exactly what it says. It lets us remove spots from our photos. So if you have any dust or little stuff that's on your sensor and you want to get rid of it, we've got a very quick way to do that. You can come over here to it's right next to the straightening tool. Okay, it's a brush with these little stars around it, little spots around it. And click on that brush. And the way it works, and you can see we've got a few spots inside of this photo. There's one up here. I don't think that's got to be a bird or a UFO, so I would never think my sensor could have that on it. But you can see I've got a couple other just pieces of junk all around here. So really easy to get rid of here. Let's start up at the top. All you got to do is just click and drag, and it creates a circle. As soon as you let go of your mouse, it finds a spot to clone from. Okay, so same thing down here. Click and drag, creates a little circle, and then it finds a spot to go from. Come over here, we got one right there. We got one right down there and over here. Okay. I think that's a cloud, but hey, it kind of looks like a spot, so we can remove it. Oh, this is ugly. That's got to be a bird. Anyway, so we can go through there very, very easily, get rid of those. If it happens to pick from something that doesn't look right, let's say, let me delete this. All you got to do to delete one is just hit the delete key, and it gets rid of it. But let's just say that, and by the way, you can use your right and left bracket keys, and you can control the size of that brush too. But let's say I click and I put on a spot. There, a perfect example. See what just happened? See how it automatically pulled from a different part of the cloud up here. Okay. Now, if I click off of the tool, we're not going to see, or I can even turn the show overlay off right down here so I don't see those little things. That's pretty obvious, right? Doesn't look so good. So what you can do is you can just click on the green part and you just move it around. And you can move it around until you get to the part that you want. So when I turn the show overlay off, see, it's a lot better. Okay. The other thing you can do over here is try to keep your spot fairly small. That'll help you from getting those weird repeating patterns or anything like that if you have a smaller spot. And then the other thing here, there is an option, clone and heal. Okay, most of the time heal is what you want to leave it on. If you got near an edge, it might not be a bad time to turn on clone, because clone takes an exact clone of what you bring your cursor over, and it'll give you just a little bit more control over it. Okay, so if you're not happy with the way you're getting your spot, then just give that clone option a try, because you'll get a little bit more control. Remember, heal kind of melds everything together. It looks at the spot that it's fixing, looks at the spot that it's pulling from, and it says, I'm going to give you a mixture of the two. Where heal or clone says, hey, it's an exact clone of whatever you have over here. I'm going to clone it exactly this way over here. Okay, but most of the time heal is what I'm going to be leaving it on. And as you zoom in, you'll even start to see, you might even find a couple of others. Again, don't forget, you want to keep that brush as small as possible, because that'll keep it kind of hides your tracks a little bit better, so that you don't see all these little places where you put all these little spot removal tools throughout the photo. Now, one more thing before we kind of move on here is I've got all these spots on the photo, all right, and these are on my sensor. So it stands to reason that every photo that I take after this photo, until I clean my sensor, will have the same exact spots. Well, earlier we did a video on synchronization, where we're able to synchronize our Camera Raw settings, where we could take the settings from one photo and apply those settings to a whole bunch of other photos. So you kind of already know that we could use those same settings to remove the spots from all different photos. So if I have 2 selected now, but I could easily I could have 50 photos selected over here. Click on the synchronize button and just come up top and just synchronize spot removal. So that now Camera Raw, when I click OK, Camera Raw would go through and it would remove the spots from the same place on all 50 of those photos. Saves a lot of time, keeps you from having to basically go through and remove the spots on all 50 of those photos manually for every single one, because they're in the same exact spot.